This is the frequency distribution from our tornado data that we did in section 2.1. There was a video on making this frequency distribution. So you can go back and watch that. What I want to do here is I want to talk about making the frequency distribution. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and you're going to highlight and you're going to go Insert and you're going to go Make a Chart. And you're going to be like, this is wrong. Why do I have two? I don't need two. This is bad. Well, what is happening, okay, is that these classes are getting read as data. It's reading this as two columns of data. So you have two options. Option one is to write this out in, as a word, okay? That's one option. And for some it makes sense. Others it doesn't. The other option, and this would have been 0, but anyways, the other option is you use a apostrophe and then a 0. You won't see the apostrophe, but it will tell Excel that this is a label. It's text, okay? Now, I don't know why, but if you go to Format and you just go to Text, it won't work. Why? I can't explain it because it seems silly. It seems like that should work too, but it doesn't. Use the apostrophe. So you can see the apostrophe up here, but you won't actually see it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight, Insert, and now I have what I want. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. I'm going to add some axis titles. I'm going to, just to make it look cool, I'm going to get rid of my gap and make it actually look like a histogram. I won't dock if you don't do that. Then on here I'm going to put, this is my F scale, right? This is tornadoes. And this over here is frequency. And make sure you label them. I like it. And there we go. So this is the frequency distribution you already made, but this now talks about taking the next step and making the histogram. For the most part, it's pretty straightforward. Copy, you're going to go up here to Insert. You want to use the bar graph option, and then you can change the width to get an official histogram. There are ways to have Excel make a histogram, but I find unless you have a huge data set, this is the most straightforward because I don't always agree with Excel's choice of classes. They don't necessarily, they work on dividing the data. They don't necessarily think about what's practical for your data because they don't know what it is. So it comes down to a matter of that it's a computer. It's just going to look at the data and make a thing. They don't realize, oh, these are tornadoes. Of course, I'm going to do 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the F scale. They don't think about things like that because they don't know it. And there's not a way to put that in. So it's easier to make your own frequency distributions and then just turn them into bar graphs because I think you get better outputs. Now, obviously, if you had huge data sets, there are ways to modify what Excel puts out, and then it might be worth it. But for the most part, for what we're doing, it is not. So hopefully this helps you. This goes over the trick of that error you might be seeing with some of your data later on, as well as just the basics of creating that histogram.